Before I begin, I'd really like to express my condolences on behalf of the Fire Marshal to the families and the community that have experienced such a tragedy during this event. Our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with each and every one of you. So from the Fire Marshal's perspective, under the direction of the Fire Protection and Prevention Act, the Fire Marshal is tasked with determining the origin, the cause, and circumstances of the incident. In order to achieve this task, we've deployed a rather large team consisting of 10 fire investigators, a fire protection specialist, a forensics engineer, a supervisor, and an operations manager. And over the past 3 days, we have worked with our community safety partners to assess the scene and take the necessary steps to ensure the safety for all those involved. To date, our work has included examining aerial drone images, interviewing a number of witnesses, and starting to use heavy machinery to remove debris and start to look and collect our evidence. Our investigation process is very thorough, and the thoroughness of our process means it takes time. Our team has been making progress, however, there's still a lot of work to be done. Following the completion of the site examination over the course of the next few days, our investigators will take the evidence that they've collected and continue to conduct analysis and test hypotheses in the event, in order to determine the cause of this event. It is much too early in our investigation right now to report any information surrounding the cause of the event. The scene of the explosion has been very challenging for all those involved in this. The cold, the site conditions, the size of the area, and the magnitude of the blast have created challenges that we are continuing to deal with and overcome. As we said, it's going to take some time to thoroughly sift systematically and methodological approach to that is something that is part of our process. It's not fast.
Many people are working together day and night to make sure that we find your loved ones and we figure out what exactly happened. Our hearts go out to you in these unimaginable circumstances. As we had mentioned previously, the Ontario Fire Marshal, Ministry of Labour, Regional Coroner's Office, and the Ottawa Police Service continue our respective investigations at the scene of a large explosion and fire that took place last Thursday on Maribel Road. We're trying to determine how it should have been a normal day at work went so tragically wrong. We're working to recover the people who still remain unaccounted for. At the same time, we're collecting evidence for the investigation to the case and to the cause of the explosion and the fire. Unfortunately, at this time, no one has been recovered. There are a number of things creating challenges in our recovery efforts, and every precaution is being taken to ensure the safety of everyone on site. With permission from families, we will be sharing a photo that shows you an overhead look at the magnitude of the destruction. The structure itself is still very unstable, and we have not been able to get inside of it very far as of yet. There's also potential of various chemicals and flare-ups when debris is removed. The structure is being dismantled and searched methodically, but this is a long process and could take several days or more. We know there will be some people close to the victims who want to come to the site to express condolences, and for that reason we have established an area where you can safely do so without hampering recovery efforts or jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation. The area located at the Eastway business sign located at the entrance of the driveway just be mindful not to block access. We realize there's always a feeling of urgency when a tragedy such as this occurs, to find answers and to locate the victims. Please note that we're moving as carefully and quickly as possible to provide meticulous investigative evidence and the utmost respect for the victims and their families.
The Office of the Chief Coroner and Ontario Forensic Pathology Service is committed to providing the highest quality of death investigation aimed at the prevention of death, contribution to the administration of justice, and the protection of public safety. We speak for the dead to protect the living. With this in mind, we're taking a stepwise approach along with the investigation team to answer the 5 questions which must be answered in any death investigation. The identity of the deceased, when and where the individual came to their death, how did the person die, and finally, the classification of the death, such as a natural or an accidental death. A coroner's investigation does not lay blame or pass judgment. The goal is to determine the facts surrounding the death and possibly make recommendations to prevent further deaths. With the contributions of the Office of the Fire Marshal, the Ottawa Police Service, Ottawa Fire Services, the Ministry of Labour, the Technical Standards and Safety Authority, Transport Canada, and the Office of the Chief Coroner and Ontario Forensic Pathology Service, we will investigate these deaths thoroughly and consider recommendations to prevent further deaths.